Can an amplifier that's this big really sound good and be loud enough to keep up with a band? Today we're gonna look at the Joyo Vivo BanTamp. What's up everybody, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Taylor and I do all sorts of guitar related stuff like this on my channel. If that's something you enjoy, make sure to subscribe and click the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of my uploads. I've been waiting quite a while to demo this amp for you guys. This is the Joyo Vivo BanTamp. And as you can see, it's tiny. I mean, I can hold it in one hand. It weighs maybe 5 pounds. Now in today's video, what I'm gonna do is put this thing through its paces. We'll test out both channels. We'll test out the effects loop. We'll test out the Bluetooth too, just, you know,
for shits and giggles.
And then at the end of the video, we'll shoot it out against my 𝗵𝗵𝗹𝗶 block letter just to see how it holds up tonally in a mix. But before we get started today, if you enjoy my videos and you want to help me keep making them, there is a support section down in the description below. There's all sorts of stuff down there like links to my Patreon, affiliate links to Amazon, links to my band's merch, and if you would check that out, it would really mean a lot to me. Now there's a lot of things that are really cool about these Joyo band amps, and we'll go over the features here in a minute, but one of the things that I think is the coolest is just the size of it. I mean, look how small this thing is. It's got a cool little handle on top here. And you know, to be honest, if I was just going to an impromptu jam session and I didn't need to be doing any MIDI switching or anything like that, the stuff that I use my Axe effects for, I would probably grab this just because of how convenient this is. I mean, this is infinitely more convenient than grabbing like a full-size tube head, or for me, rolling around my Rack of Doom with my Axe effects and my power amp in it. It might not be quite small enough to fit in your gig bag, but it's pretty close, and I think that's the coolest thing about it is just the size factor and the convenience. But does it sound good? Spoiler alert, yes, they sound really good. Now Joyo has developed several different styles of these BanTamps, and this one is called the Vivo. And what's really cool is Joyo's kind of done these like Easter egg names here. So if you notice, Vivo is Roman numerals for 5150, meaning that this amp is based off a 5150. Now I can't quite figure out if it's supposed to be based off a 𝗵𝗵𝗹𝗶5150 or the later EVH5153. I mean, it does say Vivo, which translates to 5150 in Roman numerals. It's not like the Vivo 3 or anything, but it is white, which makes me think that maybe it's voiced more closely to the EVH5153. Maybe not, maybe they just went with white because they thought it was a cool color. I'm not really sure. So let's talk about the different features on this amp. You have 2 channels, a clean and an overdrive. Both are controlled with 3 knobs on the front, one for gain, one for tone, and one for volume. And Joyo has been releasing XL versions of these BanTamps, which include independent tone, volume, and gain controls for both the channels, but they haven't released an XL version for the Vivo yet, so that's why I am reviewing this one. There's also a toggle switch for Bluetooth on the front of the unit, which will allow you to connect to your mobile device via Bluetooth if you want to play along to some backing tracks using the headphones. Speaking of headphones, there's an 1/8" headphones output on the back of the amplifier, and since it's solid state power, you can plug into the headphones output without having a load on the head and be able to use this for silent practice. There's also a speaker output on the back as well as an effects loop. Now, while there's no toggle switch or foot switch for this unit to turn the effects loop on or off, I still think that it's really cool that you can use your post effects that you would want to use with this amplifier, like your reverb and your delay, and you can still plug those into the effects loop and be able to use them, you know, in post through your cabinet. It's a pretty awesome feature. I mean, the fact that they included an effects loop at all is pretty awesome. Now let's talk a little bit about the power on this guy. This is a hybrid amplifier. It's 20 watts of solid state power, but the preamp section has a single 12AX7 tube. So it's kind of nice because you still get that tube feel from the 12AX7 that's running with the preamp, but the fact that it uses solid state power to power your speakers is probably how they got this thing in such a small package. Speaking of the solid state power, you can run this with either 8 or 16 ohm loads. Okay, with all that said, let's get over to the demo. All right, guys, I'm plugged into the Joyo Vivo BanTamp. I'm using my Jackson Kelly, which has an EMG 81 in the bridge and an 85 in the neck. I'm running the Joyo Vivo into my Mesa 4x12 cabinet that is mic'd up with an SM57. Okay, let's turn it on. Okay, so like you can see, you can definitely get a good clean tone out of this amp. But it does break up just a little bit, and one of the downsides of the original BanTamp versus the XL version is that you only have 1 set of controls for both channels. Let's switch over to the overdrive channel. Okay, sounds pretty good. I don't know how much it sounds like a 5150, but we'll go with it. Let's tweak some of the settings a little bit. I'm at about 10 o'clock here on the volume, and I think I'm probably playing loud enough to keep up with the drummer, but let's turn it up a little bit more and see how loud we can get it. That is exceptionally loud and is probably not a good idea to be playing at that loud of a volume without earplugs. You can tell the characteristic of the tone changes quite a bit and it warms up with the volume turned up, at least to my ears. I think it sounds really good. I don't think that it sounds quite like a 5150, to be honest with you. It just sounds a little bit boxier than a 5150 to me. Like it doesn't quite have the full range that a 5150 has. But I almost wonder if the tonal characteristics change because as I turn the volume up, I'm allowing more wattage to go into the speakers, which is then producing more low end. To be honest with you, I don't really know enough about the way solid state power amplifiers work to make that statement. But if you do know about solid state power and that theory makes any sense or doesn't, whatever, let me know down in the comments below. Okay, let's try and boost this guy and maybe try running some effects with it, and then we'll check out the Bluetooth. Yeah. Okay, I have my Fort and Grind plugged into the Vivo. Yeah, let's try boosting it and see what happens. Okay, so I definitely like this much better with a boost in front of it. I think what using the boost allowed me to do, especially using this fort and grind, which really adds a lot of top end, is it allowed me to dial the tone back a little bit more and get a little bit more low end out of my cabinet. And then it kind of balanced it out, just having the grind in there, adding that top end in. Yeah, I definitely much prefer it with the fort and grind. Plus, fort and grind kind of just makes everything sound heavy, you know what I mean? Here's the same settings without the fort and grind. Let's try the Bluetooth function. Let me switch on the Bluetooth mode here. All right, we're pairing with the Vivo. I'm very interested to see how this works here. Let's play some music that won't get me demonetized. Here's some Sacrificer. Okay, so it's actually playing it through the speaker. So the Bluetooth function is most likely just for playing with headphones, because I imagine you don't want to hear whatever you're playing back through the speaker that you're plugged into. It's kind of weird. But we can say conclusively the Bluetooth function works. So there's that. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna plug an effects pedal into the effects loop. I think I'm gonna go with the 𝗋𝗋𝗹 for this one. Okay, so I have the 𝗋𝗋𝗹 plugged, Okay, so I have the 𝗋𝗋𝗹 plugged into the Vivo head through the effects loop. Hopefully I mic that up okay and it sounds decent. Let's find out. I really like that pedal a lot. Okay, so the effects loop works great. I don't think there's really any complaints about it. Let's try it on the clean channel just for shits and giggles. All right, man, I really love that pedal. You get some really cool effects out of that. Okay, so my final thoughts here on the BanTamp. I think it's really good. I think it's really cool that you can buy an amp like this, which at the time of filming this comes in at right around $150, $160. I think it's really amazing that you can buy an amp that's that price, that sounds this good, and gets that loud. I mean, I think this definitely keeps up with much more expensive amplifiers and much larger amplifiers as well. Okay, now let's check this guy out in a mix. Alright, so what do you guys think of the Joyo Vivo BanTamp? Let me know down in the comments below. I was really super surprised with this thing. Again, I think it's an awesome budget piece of gear, and it definitely is loud enough if you want to, you know, play with a drummer or use it live. This thing definitely keeps up both tonally and in terms of overall volume, which I think is amazing considering the form factor and how small it is. I mean, I've been holding this thing in my hand for the duration of this video, and you know, my arm's not really tired yet, so that should tell you something about how small and compact and light it is. Special thanks to my patrons, and if you are interested in helping me make more videos like this, there's a link to my Patreon in the description below. And if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.